Hello, good morning. I may seem a bit bewildered, but actually I've just discovered that my little tripod has a little Bluetooth switch so that I don't have to lean over and switch it off by touching the phone. I knew that, but it never seemed to work. Today it's working, so it's my lucky day. I'm Sita. This is the Shawl Knitter Unplugged that you are watching, my knitting and nomadic lifestyle, I suppose you'd call it, corner of YouTube, my podcast, where I talk about my life, which is mostly about knitting at the moment actually, and about traveling, and about teaching knitting, and about color, basically. I have a little byline that I use quite often when I describe what I do, and what I do is what I call I add color to life. So I love color, as you can see, and orange is my most favorite color, I guess. I do like all colors. I don't wear black, but black's not actually a color in my opinion. So today I am wearing my favorite color, which is orange and shades thereof. And this is a slipstravaganza shawl that I have knitted, one of many, but the one that I managed to keep for myself because it's my colors. And I am here in my new home, where I moved last week in Hermanus, which is a beautiful little village on the coast of southern Africa. Right now it's winter and it's really cold. Since I posted my last video called Come With Me to the Sea, that was probably about the last beautiful day we had. We've had lots of rain, lots of wind. It's really gorgeous and I love the winter. It's divine. It's cold and one can dress for it and keep warm and have a hot water bottle, and so I'm very cozy. And I've got quite a lot of things to share with you today. One thing I'm going to just jump right into right now is actually a book that I'm reading, which is just quite coincidental, seeing as I have just spent the past 3 months in southern India, in the state of Tamil Nadu, and didn't pick up a book there to read at all. But once I was back in Cape Town, there's a really lovely second-hand book called Kafta. It's a charity bookshop, like a thrift shop for books. And I went in there and I just quickly picked up 2 books. And the one that I picked up first, which somehow attracted me, is called A Walk Across the Sun by Corbin Addison. So that's the cover. As you can see, it's quite attractive and very reminiscent of India. And, you know, I didn't even actually read it. I was in a bit of a rush, so I picked this up, and I picked up another one, which is called The Bird Skinner, which I don't know anything about yet either. And then it says 2 worlds collide, 3 destinies entwined. So I can highly recommend this book. I am more than halfway through it right now. And it says an unforgettable novel of family, survival, and the immeasurable strength of the human spirit. And it is really beautifully written. But the incredible thing about it is that I opened it up, and on the very first page, part 1, it has a saying from Rabindranath Tagore, who is a famous Indian poet and writer, no longer in his body. There's a little saying that says, "Children have their play on the seashore of the worlds," which is a lovely saying. And then the heading is Tamil Nadu, India. I thought, gosh, how incredible. It's exactly where I came from. So it just grabbed me immediately. It was like, okay, I can identify with everything, and it just dives into the story, and it's pretty hectic from the word go, but really compelling. It's a compelling read, and it's about two sisters who are caught up in a tragic event, and they lose their family. And I will just tell you what it says on the back, because I don't want to give it away, because I think you should try and read this book. It's really nice. Isla Guy and her younger sister are as close as sisters can be, but their childhood ends abruptly one day when a tsunami rips through their Indian village. Now, this is actually based on the actual tsunami that did happen in 2004 that I remember. I was not there, but I do remember it. Destitute and alone, their only hope is to find refuge at a convent many miles away. The moment they hitch a lift, their fate is sealed. A Washington lawyer, Thomas Clark, is struggling to cope after the collapse of his family. He takes a sabbatical from his job in America and accepts a position with the Bombay branch of an international anti-trafficking group. As his life becomes entwined with that of Isla and Sita, he makes it his mission to save them, as well as himself. Now, the one sister's called Sita, and that's my name. So that was also interesting. Anyway, it's the two worlds that collide of Sita and Isla and Thomas Clark, who comes over from America, but there's a lot more to it, and it's a really wonderful read. It's really wonderful. I would highly recommend it. So that is it, A Walk Across the Sun. If you find it, go for it. John Grisham says, a novel that is beautiful in its story and important in its message. So today I started in a totally different vein. Why not? Because I can. And I just see in the screen this very beautiful little bag hanging here. Now I have to admit that I can't remember what this is called, but this is such a beautiful bag. I'm trying to remember. It's a Japanese designer. It might be, it's not Eri, but I must find out. I knitted this, and it's done with this, I think it's called Roosmarine, it's very popular at the moment, this sort of exterior floats. It's not embroidery, it's a kind of exterior float that you do while you're knitting. It's not that easy, but fairly effective. So I knitted this gorgeous little bag, mostly on train journeys, and it's so detailed. It's really, really lovely, and it's very fine. This is knitted out of lace weight, pure wool, quite rough, and I got this from the weavers, the weaving cooperative in the Himalayas. And just use some of my other colors. And this is my little sock knitting project bag. I did actually give it to my granddaughter, but when I went to their house right now, I found it stuck in the top of a cupboard, and I thought, that's it, I'm taking it back and I'm using it. So this is my little bag. I would like to make a bigger one, probably just out of a thicker yarn, and also I wouldn't do the embroidery. I just make a nice simple project bag. I just love the way you can hang it over your arm. It's really gorgeous, and the detail on the top is really lovely. It's really been very beautifully thought out with some lovely stitches and sort of chevrons and this little crossover. It's a gorgeous bag. I'll have to find the pattern and actually tell you what it's called. So that leads me on to what I've been doing a lot of lately, and that is sock knitting. I'm going to try not to bump my phone. So yeah, I just got in the mood to knit socks. It's winter. I love knitted socks, and I normally have a pair of socks on the go, but I haven't for a while. So I've knitted 2 pairs recently. I think I might have shown you. This is my first pair. I'm totally in love with these. These are the Painting Brick socks by Stephen West, and yeah, they're lovely. I really, really love this garter heel that that barber knit actually taught Stephen before he was a sock knitter. Barber knit from Iceland. She does this gorgeous garter heel, and I do find it to be very effective and give a lovely firm backing. So that's the first pair I made. The second pair I made quite recently, also pretty modified. It's called Waves in Paradise, and it's by Jennifer Bouleux or Ellyndria Knits. A recent pattern, you may have seen it about on Instagram and on Ravelry. I have modified it. Once again, I have used the garter heel because that's the heel I'm going to be using now. I really like it. There is another heel that I also like from the Irish Knitting Podcast from Sam. He calls it the Venetian heel. You should check that out as well. It's very, very nice. It's different. It's not a heel and gusset. It's quite different. Anyway, this is sort of a series of ridges with a yarn over pattern. I haven't blocked them yet, so it'll probably stretch out a bit more. But yeah, I added a little extra row of holes because it wasn't quite long enough and I didn't want to do another repeat, and anyway, and so on and so forth. But that is my second pair of socks, and really lovely. All the yarns I've used are from South African dyers. This multicolored one is actually a commercial, African Expressions, and this multicolor one is from Big Fox. So those are two fun pairs of socks. Here's the pattern of Waves in Paradise. You can see they've used multicolors. The shorties have shorter lace sections. It's very adaptable. It's a lovely pattern, and I really am happy with what I've done with it. And I am about to do a test knit of socks, which I think will start tomorrow. It's also a shorty sock, rib and with a cable, so I'm looking forward to that. Now, a big thing that I've knitted recently and that I really wanted to talk about is the Matagui knitted cardigan by Mayasa Tomikawa. Here is a black and white copy of the page of the picture of the garment. Now, I was very excited by this when I saw it, very, very excited, and there were lots and lots of build-up. There was lots of build-up to this pattern. Lots of photos of stripes, of blocks, of intarsia, all different ways you can do it. And I thought, wow, it's sort of like a very oversized kimono-ish type of cardigan that is open. It doesn't have a border and it's very wide. The body is very oversized, and it just reminded me of a kimono, and I love that kind of a comfy top. So I waited and waited and waited, and when the pattern came out, I bought it immediately. It is quite on the pricey side, this pattern, but nevertheless I really wanted it. So I'm going to hold this up and show you what I've done. I have modified this up the yin yang. So first of all, I put a couple of buttons. I don't know if you can actually see this properly. It's got lovely big sleeves, and I have gone for a stripy combination. It's knitted on a 6mm needle, I think, very thick needle. It's basically a big square, and then you divide it in half and you go down the front, and it's got this slip stitch in the middle, which gives it a little bit of some kind of definition. And I'm not sure if it's got the slip stitch down the side. It probably hasn't, but I have done that. Now, I have not blocked it yet. It's still, I've been wearing it quite a lot. It's still full of my threads inside, and I use just a whole lot of different lovely textured. There's mohair, alpaca, wool, a bit of polyester, some of this nubby, very coarse yarn, and then some lovely soft pure merino held with mohair, which I've used at the top, And then I just put 2 lovely big wooden buttons on it. So what did I do? I was quite disappointed with this pattern, I must say. To start off with, it was very long. Pages and pages and pages and pages, 17 or 18 pages. But contained within that was not really very much instruction. It really just felt like it was a square with a slip stitch down the middle, and when you got as long as you wanted to, you divided it and you went down the front, and there was no instruction for an intarsia version or for a stripe version or for a whatever version. It was do whatever you want, which is nice. I like that. But I think for the price of the pattern, it was a bit underwhelming. The sleeves were knitted flat, which I was definitely not interested in doing. So I knitted them circular, and there was no border on the whole garment, which is fine, but in garter stitch, you know, that eventually stretches out and does not look very nice at all. So what I did is, I knitted the front and the back, and then I bordered the whole thing with single crochet. I did a row of single crochet around the front, around the bottom, and around the armholes before I picked up stitches. You can see there's that light brownish color. So I basically bordered the whole thing with the 5.5mm crochet hook and single crochet, just to finish it off and give it a firm edge. Then I picked up stitches for the sleeves, and I think I knitted it pretty much straight. I came very at the end, I decreased probably 6 stitches, so it's still a very wide cuff. So it's very bouncy because it's garter, and it's actually lovely. But I was just very underwhelmed by the pattern, and the cost of the pattern I felt was not really justified, you know. And most of the instruction was about knit 6 rows with this color, knit 6 rows with that color, knit 6 rows with the next color. So that didn't really float my boat, but I made it, and I'm glad I have. And I've made it sort of a medium length, but I am really hoping that it will stretch out a bit, and it will when I block it eventually. But right now it's cold, so I've been wearing it. So what I'm actually wearing, I told you, is my lovely Slipstravaganza shawl, which I'd just love to hold up and show you. I'm knitting an order for this at the moment, out of black and red and coral and all sorts of delicious bright colors. It's going to look lovely. But this is my gorgeous one. I've used mohair in the chevrons and a little bit in the center, and that makes it very light actually. Just a bit of extra mohair in it. Goes with my lovely old turtleneck sweat top. And I'm sitting here in my lovely new room, which is very light, and really enjoying it, and it's a very good place to make a video. So I will wait for the rain to pass, and then I will block my Matagui knitted cardigan. I would suggest that you knit this. It is lovely if you're prepared to pay $10 for it. I just felt that it didn't really offer me very much, and it looks lovely in the pictures, and it does look lovely to wear as well, but it just does not feel finished really. And I would not knit the sleeves flat and then seam the whole thing down the sides. So that's what I've done. But I've made it, and it's warm and cozy, and it's in all the autumnal kind of lovely wintry shades. So that is that. What I'm busy doing right now is something quite interesting. You know, many years ago, I used to make knitted felt slippers as a business. And when I started going to India, I sold my business to a commercial shop. and I taught them how to make them, and they made them for a while. They didn't seem to have very much success because they didn't make them for very long, which is a pity, because they were really gorgeous. And I came back and met with my friend, and suddenly remembered, well, she reminded me that she had bought a lot of the wool from me for making the slippers. Now, in order to felt knitting, you need to use definitely no superwash wool. It has to be pure wool. It has to be very hardly spun, or even unspun. Something like plotalopi or nutridin would work perfectly well. But it's a very specific yarn that you need. So she found all the yarn that she had bought from me and never used. This is like 16 years ago. And we decided to start knitting the slippers again. And we are actually going to present a workshop pretty soon on knitting the knitted felt slippers. So I found a pattern from Sam, my friend of Irish Knitting Stories, and it was actually a pattern that he had got from another podcaster, because it was only in Norwegian and had been translated into English. And so I don't know who this pattern belongs to, but I bought it from Sam and I tried it out. So of course he used a thicker yarn or a different yarn, and I used what I had, and I got a very cute little slipper, I must say. It's very gorgeous, but it's not what I had in mind. I want something with more of a back, that the foot can stay in. This has felted absolutely beautiful, and I love the colors, but it's not correct at the back. It's like a slip slop, you know, it flops about. So we felted it, and this is the first prototype. So right now I'm busy with some more of this gorgeous feltable wool, and I am knitting the second prototype. So this is what the base of the slipper looks like. It's massive, but it has to be, because it has to shrink. And I knit 2 of these so that the bottom is lovely and thick, and then I go on to the top. So I'm going to modify this pattern completely into a shoe, and hopefully that's going to work very well, and then maybe I can put this pattern out. So let's see how that goes. That's what I'm busy with right now. Sitting here in this cozy spot, I can see the mountain, I can see the rain coming. It's windy and chilly. I've been out on my bicycle this morning down to the shops, and I have everything I need for the rest of the day. So I'm not going to move. I'm going to stay right here. And I thought I would just give you a glimpse into my little knitting world right now. So I am about to do quite a few workshops. I'm going to give a sock knitting workshop, and then I am going to do the knitted felt slipper workshop as soon as I've got the prototype sorted out, which hopefully will be this week. And then I'm also looking to try and get a knitting retreat going here. It's just so beautiful here. Take a look at my last video and you'll see what I mean. You know, the whales come here. It's a very special place for me. I will show you some videos of how close the whales come here. You will not believe it. So I'm hoping that in August I'm going to put together a knitting retreat in a beautiful, luxurious guest house right on the cliffs. So we can actually literally sit on the veranda and watch the whales if we want to. And you can hear them calling. They come here to have their young, and they hang around for months. And it's very, very, very popular and famous with tourists to come and see the whales. So yes, I'm hoping that this is going to be my new spot for a few months. You know, I am a nomad and I find my place. I do know Hermanus very well, and I have quite a few friends here. So I'm hoping that this can be my winter into spring place. before I take my next tour to India in November. So that is what I'm going to do, and yeah, I'm very excited. It's a big change for me, and I am embracing it as nomads do. You find your place, you make your home wherever you go. I have everything I need. I have tons of wool and all my needles and lots of inspiration and my YouTube channel and my friends and my knitting friends and my family. My daughter lives nearby and my granddaughter, so it feels like a very good place for me to almost hibernate in a way. So thanks for coming to have a look today. I hope you're inspired by everything I've showed you, and that you will subscribe to my channel. That would be really, really helpful. And like this episode and send me a message if you like. It'd be nice. I love to chat in the comments. And if you have any questions or you're interested in any of the upcoming workshops, send me a message in the comments, and we can talk. So, and if you are in the United States or in the UK or anywhere foreign to Southern Africa, please come. It is a beautiful country, and it is really, really reasonable. Our currency is extremely depressed, so your currency is king, and everything you do will be incredibly reasonably priced, and you will love it. And I can offer a lot more than just taking you on a knitting workshop and seeing the whales in the Southwestern Cape. I'm actually a tour guide in India, but I know South Africa very well. And yeah, speak to me. You know, perhaps you'd like to come on a tour with your friends or a group. I can organize some very special magical places. And in the spring here, we also have this incredible flower kingdom in an area called Namaqualand, which is one of the 7 great flower kingdoms of the planet. Right now, it is totally desolate, it's mountainous, it is rocky, it's like a rock and a mountain desert. But once the winter rains have soaked in and the summer sun comes out, it is a total paradise of flowers. And that is not very far from here. The Western Cape is very beautiful. So it has the flowers to offer in July, August, the whales also in July, August. And we also have one of the world's most famous wine regions here, which is also very gorgeous. So come and visit, you know, speak to me. I would be very excited to show you this beautiful country. Thanks a lot. So I hope to see you again, and take care and enjoy your summer, because I'm sure most of you in the Northern Hemisphere, I watch a lot of podcasts. I see everybody is knitting summer garments, and that's lovely. I have been in very hot southern India and I've been dying for this cold weather. So I am knitting slippers and shawls and all the warm woolly stuff, and I'll soon be doing some more dyeing and whatever I can to do with wool. So take care, be well, and thank you so much for coming. Be well. Oh, you see, and now the switch will not work. So I have to now lean over and switch off. Bye.